Morning, everybody. I'm an independent director of Silver North. It's pretty exciting times for Silver North. We've just finished one drill program and we have another one underway, both of them in the Yukon Territory and Northern Canada. So lawyers make us put this slide in. Hopefully people don't want us to dwell on it. Okay, so here's a map of the Yukon Territory, and the two projects that I'm about to talk about are the Haldane project, which is kind of in north-central Yukon there, which you'll see on the map there, and then the Tim property, which is right down near the BC border there, right at the bottom of the map there. Those are the two projects of interest. And as you can see there's some grades there from previous work on these two properties. The Haldane property, 330 grams over 8 metres. This is from 2021. So we're following up on already some pretty decent drill results there. And that's where drilling is underway right as we speak. First hole was completed a couple of days ago, and they were on the second hole. And then the Tim project that John mentioned is optioned to a company called Core, who are actually a producer, and they have the Silvertip mine, which is in care and maintenance at the moment, which is just 20 kilometres from our project. And the Tim project has had some pretty high-grade sampling historically from trenches of 3.7 metres there at good grades as well, for silver, and also with some lead there. So I'll kick into it here. So obviously when you are talking about exploration and investing in exploration companies, you want to invest at the right time. So, Silver North, hopefully we're in that pre-discovery phase. That's where we believe we are, and obviously drilling is the best way to get leverage to that exploration stage. Drilling is the drill is the truth machine in our industry. So, you do a lot of work before you're ready to drill, and then you're testing theories when you drill, and hopefully if you have success, leads to that good run up in the share price that we're all looking for as investors. And I'm an investor as well, so kind of aligned with this graph. And then obviously you have different phases as a project gets towards development. We all know of projects that fit different places on that curve. So just talking about Mount Haldane, that's the project in the centre of the screen in red there. It's very close to the Kino Hill historic silver mine, which has been in production since early last century, and it's owned by Hecla Mining, big American silver mining company. I think it's the largest US silver mining company. And they just spent quite a lot of money to purchase that from Alexco and to take out a silver stream that was on the property, which was perhaps hampering the economics. And they're working through improving the productivity of that mine and really getting it rolling well. I think they're having good success with that, and they're an experienced operator, so they know exactly what they're doing. And that road there shown as the Silver Trail, it's actually a paved highway, so got great access, and then our project has a series of roads on it as well. So you won't see any photographs of helicopters in this presentation. As you can see there, 220 million ounces of silver has been produced from the Kino Hill silver mine over its history. And yeah, we've got cell phone service and power lines. It's a good place to be. We're right next door to Banyan Gold, which is the light blue coloured company there. And obviously Victoria Gold's Eagle Mine is to the north of us there. So just looking at the projects there, the ones on the right-hand side, Elsa, Husky, and so on, Birmingham, those are all projects that are part of Alexco's, the Kino Hill silver mine owned by Hecla. And then Orex Powerline and Airstrip, those are Banyan Gold's projects, and then Mount Haldane is along that same trend, so it's pretty interesting trend. There's a lot going on here. There's both gold at Banyan Gold and also silver in the Kino Hill silver mine, and we're looking for silver at Mount Haldane in the same kind of setting as what you have at Kino Hill. So this is just looking at the geology, and I'm not going to get into too much detail here, but the important thing to note is that these silver mines that Kino Hill have, they're all in the basal quartzite, which is that kind of light blue colour rock. So that's the host rock that you want to be in. And if you have a look at our Haldane property, which is at the left-hand side of the map there, you can see we've got a good exposure of that host rock, which is exactly where you want to be. Some of the ground in between us and Kino Hill is actually covered by glaciation, so it's actually tough to explore in there. You've got to drill through the glaciated material before you find a bedrock. But where we are, we actually have bedrock exposures and oxidised mineralisation at surface, and that's as a result of some of the glaciation that's occurred here. So picture here, it's snow hasn't begun to fall yet, but this is what it'll look like in a couple of months' time. You can see there the West Fault area where we've got 3 metres of 1,300 grams a tonne silver from 2020 drilling. The Johnson vein there was actually historic production, just a small amount there, but obviously, pretty significant grades, 4,600 grams a tonne, two tonnes there. And then the Middlecoff area, similar historic production, 24 tonnes there at some pretty good 3,000 grams a tonne. And that's a feature of this district. If you have a look at Heckler's resource and reserve statement, they're mining ore, or they have ore in their reserves that's 26 ounces per tonne, which is about 900 grams a tonne. So this stuff is fabulously rich. That's what this district is known for. It's the highest grade silver district in Canada. And it compares very favourably to other big silver producers like Mexico, where underground mining is often undertaken on 300 grams per tonne, for example, style deposits. And then we've also got the Bighorn area, which is shown down there at the kind of in the middle of the screen, lower elevation. And it's a target that we're going to put one hole into. We only have one hole in it, but we have, when you're drilling for these kinds of targets, you're looking for not just grade, but you're also looking for the width of the structure. The width of the structure is really what's going to help you generate tonnage in these style systems. And it looks like a bit of a mountainous area, which is actually kind of helpful for us in terms of having outcrop. But where we're targeting is actually kind of below the bottom of the valley level. We're looking for the sulfide part of the system. Some of the showings that we have at surface are in the oxidised portion of the system, which is less desirable, but it gives a good indication of where you need to be to follow those structures that host this mineralisation to depth. So switching gears and talking about the Tim property, which is option to Core Mining. They just completed a 2,200 metre drill program there, which is a few more metres than we anticipated they would drill. They purchased the Silvertip mine several years ago, and the resource and reserve base was a little bit small, so they've got that mine on care and maintenance while they find more ore to fill that mill, and we're hoping that we're going to be a part of that solution to them finding ore if we have some success at our Tim property. They're covering all the costs of the exploration on this property. They can get to 80% by basically completing a feasibility study. I think next year's spend, assuming they go forward, is $1.1 million, and there's some payments to us as well. So it's pretty exciting times to have them, advancing that property for us. And again, it's on roads and trails. There's no need for helicopters here. So yeah, we're kind of waiting for the drill results, which should be out in the next month or two on the Tim property. If you want to get into a bit more details on the geology here, it's a carbonate replacement deposit style, and they're probably less well known than the typical epithermal deposits that host gold and silver mineralisation elsewhere. But carbonate replacement deposits were responsible for about 40% of Mexico's silver production historically. So there's some pretty decent deposits down there, Cinco de Mayo and Santa Eulalia, for example. Dr. Peter McGaw has some fantastic papers on the web if people are interested in getting into the details. He's got checklists for these kinds of districts, and I think we tick quite a few of those items off the list. So yeah, that just talks about the access there to the property and shows the proximity to the Silvertip mine, which is actually in northern British Columbia. So there's a provincial boundary there, which isn't a huge impediment, not a real problem there. There's no issues. And yeah, they did 2,250 metres in 6 holes. They're drilling fairly deep because, again, they're looking for the sulfide mineralisation rather than the oxide mineralisation that we see at surface in the historic trenches. So this is a bit of a map of the geology, and with a carbonate replacement system, you're looking for a few different ingredients. You need a big intrusion to generate the heat to move the fluids around, and we have one of those right next to the property, shown by another company. And then you need a structure, and we believe the Wolf fault, which is shown there, is potentially that structure that moves the fluids around. And then you end up with a series of mantos, which are like chimneys, and hopefully they contain the higher grade mineralisation that we're seeking. And there's some historic trenching shown on there. With obviously these are great grades, you know, like 1,292 grams a tonne silver, 350 grams over 3.7 metres. You know, that's the tenor of mineralisation you really want if you're going to be in the silver space. So we're hopeful that they have some success with the drill and come back with a bigger program next year. Yeah, it's just a graphic here showing the Wolf fault. It's relatively subdued, very oxidised at surface. If you know what you're looking for, you can pick that out. And obviously the core geologists have done a very nice job of working through the mapping and all the data and coming up with their drill targets. So we're pretty happy with what they've done there. There's, you know, barbecue rock is it's kind of an interesting concept, but as part of the formation of these carbonate replacement deposits, you know, the metasomatic replacement of certain minerals, and then the fluids, some minerals are driven off. The calcite is fugitive, it's driven off from the system as part of this mineralisation. And it's actually a clue, so it enables us to vector where we are in the system. You know, you're looking for these indicators which are telling you what's happening, what's happened historically with the formation of that deposit. It'll give you a clue as to which direction you should be heading to get to the mineralisation you're looking for. So why silver? I mean, it's $31 an ounce, and John's given a great talk about you know, some of the industrial uses of minerals that we need going forward for new technologies, and you know, silver is obviously one of those. And why Silver North? I mean, drilling is where discoveries are made, and we've got 2 drill programs, one just completed and one underway. So fingers crossed as a shareholder of Silver North that we have some success there, and look forward to telling you all about it.